liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll begin with the election of officers. Again, the first person or the first officer we'll elect is for the position of president. How this will work is a nomination is made, and that a motion is made to elect. And a motion is I move that you fill in the name be elected as president to serve a term of 1 year or until the person's successor is elected and qualified. That is seconded. Once that's done, I'll wait and I'll accept more nominations or motions for nominations. If there's multiple motions or multiple nominations, we will do a ballot, and that ballot.
My name's Colin Cash. I'm one of the owners of Built Right Homes. Built Right Homes has been in business for over a decade. We do 300 to 400 full roofing, siding, gutters, window projects every single year. We've worked on over 2,500 homes in the last 10 years, from neighborhoods after Hurricane Katrina to you name it. We want to get people's homes not just back in shape, but in better condition than they were so they can get back to living their lives. We have a very high standard for quality that we're going for, and we don't want to offer any product that we can't just knock the socks off of our customers, right? We absolutely want to exceed everybody's expectations, and so we only use the absolute best materials that you can get. The best shingles, the best siding, gutters. We want our products to stand the test of time. I would put my company against any other company out there.
Every member of the board will be given a ballot. You'll write down the name of the person that you're choosing to put your support behind. I will collect those ballots, and Mr. Gross and I will count those ballots, and whoever has the most votes will have that officer's position. If there's a tie, we will vote again, and we will vote again, and we will vote again until a officer is elected. And that's for each of the positions, not just the position of the president. Are there any, before we go any further, are there any questions about the process? All right. So at this time, I will be accepting motions for our nominations and motions for the position of school board president.
I'd like to nominate Brad Hayes. I move that Brad Hayes be elected as president to serve no, that's not right.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
To serve a term of 1 year until the person's successor is elected and qualified.
Also, we have and Mr. Hayes, do you accept that nomination? I will accept other nominations at this time. Hearing none, we don't need to vote. So, Mr. Hayes, you will be our board president again for the 27th year of 2026. Sorry, I couldn't remember what year we were in. 2026 board president. Congratulations. And I will pass the gavel to you.
Thank you. So next we will look for a nomination for vice president.
I move that Scott Barger be elected as vice president to serve a term of 1 year until the person's successor is elected and qualified.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominees? Hearing none. Congratulations, Scott. We look forward to the vice president again for the year of 2026. Next on the agenda is to elect the secretary for the 2026 school year.
I move that Mike Lang be elected secretary to serve a term of 1 year or until the person's successor is elected and qualified.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Awesome.
Thank you, Miranda. Do we have any other nominees? Hearing none. Congratulations, Mike. You will be our secretary again. Thank you. So next on the agenda, we have to go through I'm gonna make a motion. I move that business manager Jeff Gross be elected as the treasurer and recording secretary to serve a term of 1 year or until the position's successor is appointed. And this is by default for our structure with the McCook Public Schools Board of Education. So I'm looking for a second.
I'll second
We have a motion and a second. We have to vote on
We'll
that.
do a roll call vote.
Mr. Gross will do a roll call vote.
Jesse Junior.
Yes.
Mike Lennon. Yes. Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Brad Hayes.
Yes.
Scott Barber.
Yes.
Amanda Burr.
Yes.
Motion approved. Next on the agenda is appointment of committees. And so I am going to pass out committee assignments. Last year was a new year for everybody on committees, and so we will be keeping everybody as the same committee member, and we're keeping the same chairs. So some of the new board members will be moving to chair positions in the following year to share some of the leadership roles in committees. The committees that we do are programs, activities, policy, finance, negotiations, facilities, Americanism, and then we do have an ad hoc committee if needed. So those meetings will be started to be scheduled. Mr. Gross, Mr. Norgard will be reaching out to committees to get things scheduled. Those are usually 7 a.m. and or noon or at the end of the day, and they can generally last an hour up to occasionally 2 hours.
Yeah, they can ask that.
So if you have any questions after you've looked at the sheet, like I said, it's the same, it's just a different year. Please reach out to any of us and we'll try to answer questions. Next on the agenda is to approve the McCook Gazette as our official newspaper for district notices. And so I'm going to move that the McCook Gazette be identified as the official newspaper for district notices. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have to have that by default. We have to have a local paper.
It's required by state statute.
State statute. So that's probably the only comment we need. That's
I think
our default.
as far as discussion, it is required by state statute. It's good to do on an annual basis, so there's no. What it does is informs the community of where to look when they want to see our notifications. So there's one newspaper that they can look at, and so it's a way to make it streamline the communication process.
Very good. We'll take a vote on that, Mr. Gross.
Mike Lennon.
Yes.
Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Brad Hayes.
Yes.
Scott Barber.
Yes.
Amanda Burr.
Yes.
Jesse Junior.
Yes.
Good. Next is Mr. Norgard. He's going to give us some information.
Yeah, the next item on there is board members provided with a state statute regarding conflict of interests. That's a document that is a PDF attachment, and I'm required by, again, state statute to make sure that every board member receives that on an annual basis. So I have to now direct you to please open that up at your convenience and read through that and make sure that you are abiding by all the conflict of interest. If there is a conflict of interest, that's okay. You have to write down what that conflict is and turn it into the Board of Education for review so that we know when a decision is made that might be conflicting for you as a member of the community at large, that you would abstain from it. Any questions about that?
Those are collected annually at the audit.
Yeah, they are collected, so we'll have you, I guess I should have brought them in paper.
Well, if they have some.
Review it and we'll have you sign them. You needed to receive it tonight, and we'll have something for you to sign in February.
Sounds good. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is board will accept public comments. Do we have any public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes and financials from December 2025. Looking for a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes minutes and financials for December 2025.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'd second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The only thing I would give note on is on your cash balance summary. I started putting on there this, I did it in December and failed to tell you, but there's always the previous year's month on there for comparison purposes. So you have the ability to see where we're at on a cash flow basis from last year versus this year. So if you notice that change in there, that's what that is. It's just recommended from the auditors and the state finance department showing you cash summary from. So this one has January 25, and then also January 26.
So you started that last January?
I started it in December, but
December.
now it'll just be there every month. It'll be part of your reporting process.
Very good, thank you. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Gross?
Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Brad Hayes.
Yes.
Scott Barber.
Yes.
Amanda Burr.
Yes.
Jesse Juden.
Yes.
Mike Lang. Yes.
Motion approved. Next on the agenda is our student board member report from Quinn Taylor. You're up, Quinn.
All right. Hopefully everyone had a great Christmas and Happy New Year as we begin 2026. I was able to start the new year off on a great note by spending all of last week in Costa Rica. Although I missed quite a bit of school and activities, this is what I've heard since I've been back. Boys and girls basketball both played Sydney on Saturday for their first home game. Unfortunately, both boys and girls lost. Girls wrestling went to Norton last Friday. The girls took home 5 medals. Boys wrestling had a meet at Beatrice on Saturday. Swim and dive had a meet at Kearney on Saturday. The boys took down 3 school records. The bowling team had a meet on Saturday at Lexington. The speech team also had a meet at Lexington on Saturday. As you can tell, the Bison teams had a very busy weekend with the events and have a lot more to come in the following weeks ahead. Next Saturday during the boys basketball halftime is also the girl-boy dance. Some things the clubs have been involved in. The student council has started to plan for the Color Day dance, which is scheduled for Saturday the 24th. Math club has started to discuss Brain Bowl for this spring, also Math Magic. And FBLA is getting people to help with the food drive this month.
Very good, thank you. Any
Yeah.
questions or comments? Thanks, Quinn.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is Mr. Norgard is going to do a presentation on the University of Nebraska Medical Center and McCook Public Schools nursing pathway that has been working on since the fall. I believe we went to that meeting with UNMC. So-
Yeah, they have started my report, but I am thankful to, we have some local community members that really helped get this process started. Brian Esch being one of those individuals. He knows folks at, he knows deans and such at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. And he was able to line us up with some meetings. And from that has come the presentation I'm about to give everyone. And normally this works just fine, right? Except for right now. Okay, maybe it's just proximity. How's everybody doing today? All right. Nice day, right? We're in here. And I'm even hardwired in, so that's part of the problem. Are you smirking back there, Mr. Curl? Be nice to me up here.
I'm just chanting Joel's name.
I don't. Yeah, I've hooked this up a number of times.
Yeah, Mr. Norberg the other day, it seemed like it had to warm up a little bit. It did come but longer than what
Well, I turned it on when I first came in. This is going to be a pain if I can't get this to work right. All right, let's try a different pathway.
See if I can get it this way. This is the way it used to work and then stopped working. I'm sure we're good. All right, well,
Just thinking back to the 60s when this was built.
yeah, I don't think it's going to work. And that's unfortunate. What I'll do is I'll I'll share this with you electronically after the meeting, and that way you can get that information. But that being said, I'm just going to go through this really quick, and I apologize for the lack of information. I'll start off the University of Nebraska pathway. The purpose of the pathway, magic touch. I think it's going to go. Weak signal. What are you trying to say about my computer?
There you go.
All right.
Good job.
Now don't touch it. All right. Why do this? Okay, so I've talked about this a little bit over the last few months. I've talked a little bit about it, and so but I wanted to give a formal presentation tonight to give you an update, first of all, and give you a little bit more in-depth information about what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And what we're trying to do is create a clear structure, a route for our students from McCook Public Schools to get into a nursing program. We have a lot of students in our high schools. Over the last couple of decades, a lot of our kids have gone into nursing. And that process is challenging. It's very competitive. And so when the traditional route is kids graduate from McCook High School, they go off to a post-secondary school, they might even start here in town with MCC, or they might go to Kearney or UNK or UNO. And they're going to be working on it. But after they get to their at the end of their sophomore year, if they're going for a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, which is what this is, they have to apply to enter into nursing school. It's a very, very competitive process. And so what we wanted, and also when our kids leave McCook and they go to UNO Medical Center, the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, a lot of times we don't get those kids back. So the University of Nebraska recognizes this, we recognize this at the McCook Public Schools, and so does our local hospital. So how can we increase the likelihood that students will return? And this is how. We want to create this pathway here in McCook High School. Alignment of healthcare career coursework with UNMC. So we're going to align with the University of Nebraska Medical Center. We have coursework. Mr. Dickus has done a lot of work on this and looked at what we currently offer. And we feel we're in a strong position to partner with UNMC and provide some of that coursework that students need to become nurses, a Bachelor's of Nursing, right here at McCook High School. Regular advising from a UNMC nursing staff. So in this agreement, the University of Nebraska Medical Center is going to give us an advisor for our kids. That person will work directly with our students from the very beginning until they complete their program. Provisional early admission leading to full BSN. So that's really good for our kids. It's really good for our community. Why? Because when we allow a student from McCook High School to enter into the program around probably their junior year, most of them, I shouldn't say probably, most of the students will enter into that program their junior year when they're interested. And they'll get that advisor, and then once they're in, as long as they meet the prerequisites for graduation from the program, then they are getting into the program. They're going to have a spot. They won't have to apply and compete for a position with UNMC. Again, a very competitive school to get into for nursing. And that's an advantage to our kids. Now, what are some of those prerequisites? Well, a minimum GPA, that's a minimum GPA standard, which is understandable, and also a CNA certification. Now, there might be another prerequisite here or there, but those are two of the big ones, right, Mr. Dickus?
Correct, yes.
Why this matters. Addresses McCook's and the surrounding rural communities' nursing workforce needs. So I don't know if you all know, you probably do, but there is a high demand for nurses, and not just in Nebraska, not just in McCook, but across the nation. And so we're at a point in time where we have to go out and recruit nurses. It's a tough job. And rural nursing is even more difficult because of where most of these medical schools are at. expands high demand career opportunities for our students. So let's be honest, this is a great career for our kids that are leaving McCook High School to get a job. It's going to pay the bills. They're going to have a good life, right? Help students stay connected to McCook while preparing for a nursing career. So we're going to maintain a connection with them all the way through. So how are we going to do that? We've got a plan set up. Pathway details. There are some admission requirements. That you can see, if you look at this, some of these, it makes sense why it's going to be a junior. That 18 at application time, that's relative. There are some different caveats for that. If they're a junior and they're 17 or something, we can work something out with them. Provisional nature of early admission. Early admission is provisional, contingent on meeting progression criteria. And I already mentioned that, GPA, completion of CNA. Students are offered a seat once criteria are met. Scholarship eligibility. Students accepted into the program are eligible to apply for a UNMC nursing scholarships. Formal advising cadence, so they're going to get that advisor I talked about. And here's something that's very important. The students that enter into this program and then go on to the university system, they're not going to go to UNMC in Omaha. They're going to go to the University of Nebraska Medical Center campus in Kearney. And that was critical. Something that we want to keep them close to home, in rural Nebraska. And something that UNMC recognized too. They won't allow the students to go to Omaha because their goal, like ours, is to keep these students, these graduates, once they finish the program, in rural Nebraska. Because according to their own metrics, they know that when the kids go to Omaha or they go to Lincoln, they stay there. They stay there. All right. But this process is going to require more than just McCook Public Schools to do this successfully, to do it well. One of the partners that I've had an opportunity to meet with most recently is with the community hospital. And I really see that we have a community hospital that supports this concept strongly. We had a very good meeting, and it looks like they're going to be a very good partner for us. And how does this benefit the hospital? So you're going to be a partner, you're going to have a benefit from it, right? And I think some of that's pretty clear without having to get into the details. Kids coming back and working in the hospital, but strengths, community partnerships focused on workforce development. That's exactly what this is. Provides early exposure for students to career and healthcare. So what we'd like to have is every kid interested in this field to start in this program, who wants to be a nurse, gets into the program and finishes. But some of them are going to get into this, and while they're still in high school, take some of our coursework and realize this is not for me. And that's good too. As much as we want the kids to finish the program, it's also good for those students to realize, you know what, I don't think nursing's my career path before they go and start spending money at the university. Builds relationships with future nurses and healthcare professionals. So obviously when we have students here at the high school, they're going to be engaged and building relationships with a community hospital. And supports long-term local recruitment and retention efforts, something we've all been working on in the community, and helps enable community hospital to lead our region to a healthier future. I threw that in. That's their mission. Just say that. No, I know the community hospital, they knew that already. They're in attendance. How community hospital can support the pathway. Okay, this is really critical for its success. How can they support? Provide opportunities for high school students to observe, learn, grow in clinical settings. So access, right? Our kids need access. Provide financial assistance and incentives to students pursuing a BSN. And on an earlier page, these are students that would enter into this would be able to apply for UNMC scholarships. But with the right support from a community hospital, which it looks like they're prepared to do, students would have financial support from the very beginning of paying tuition and those types of things. Support that they will help them as long as, right, those students come back to McCook and serve in our community. That's like, I almost consider that like a Regent scholarship, the value of that. And align incentives with the intent for students to return to McCook Community Hospital after completing their program. Obviously, the financial incentive would guarantee that, but we want all of our kids to come back. There are McCook kids who want to come back to McCook and work in our hospital, just like when our students graduate from here and go off to education college, we want to bring them back so they can teach in our classroom. Community hospital already provides financial assistance to students who plan to attend to return to McCook. This pathway offers an opportunity to better align and strengthen those existing efforts. So we really feel this fits with what the hospital is already trying to accomplish and enhances that. I haven't had a chance to sit down just yet with Mid-Plains. Do we have a date set? I can't remember.
Friday.
We're meeting, yes, we have a date set. Friday I'm meeting with Mid-Plains leadership, and our goal is to share some of these things. What are the benefits to Mid-Plains if they partner with us? Local education to workforce partnership, again, same as the hospital. Increased student enrollment at the college level courses here locally. College is always wanting to fill their classes, right? The more kids they have, their numbers increase. They like that. Supports growth in the CNA program, so all of our kids should go through this program. Prerequisite is they're going to finish that CNA program. This should increase the number of students getting that CNA. And builds a stronger pipeline of students progressing into healthcare careers, and they offer their own healthcare courses, so that's something to be cognizant of. They should want to be a partner. Some of our kids may not want to go on and get their BSN, so this program isn't right for them. But they might want to become a registered nurse, and so Mid-Plains can provide them access to that program. Mid-Plains can support the pathway by collaborating with McCook High School and the University of Nebraska Medical Center nursing prerequisites requirements, helping us get as many of those prerequisites met before the students graduate from our high school, and make those courses accessible to high school students. So they offer a lot of these courses, but at times these courses aren't at the best time for our kids. And so we might be looking for alignment with scheduling and those types of things. And they've generally been very receptive to those conversations. Work jointly with McCook High School to prioritize dual credit coursework, which provides the greatest benefit to students. Now, for those of you that might not know, dual credit means they're getting a grade for, let's say, English at the high school, but it's at the college level. One of our teachers is teaching it, so they also get credit into grade at the collegiate level. So, and then coordinate with identified faculty at both institutions to ensure alignment and smooth delivery. All right, so what are the next steps? I kind of have one of them I already took care of here. I talked about this was a next step, and I met with the UNMC hospital. We do need to visit with the community hospital. I do still need to visit with the community college and discuss their involvement. Aligning, advising, and coursework to ensure smooth transition. You can see those are some things we still have to work out. So it's not completely set up, but we're well on our way. And we're in a good spot right now. Even if the community college did want to partner with us, which I can't imagine, if they did, we feel we can put some form of this together with the courses we currently offer. Conclusion. A strategic partnership to build a local nursing pipeline provides direct pathway for MPS students into a high-demand career. And we've been talking about getting kids into high-demand careers for a number of years here in McCook, and we've hired CTE teachers with career technical education, our construction classes, small engines, all these things that are skill sets that kids can go out and get jobs right away. This is just an addition to that. So when we think about career, college readiness, or career high-demand career preparedness, this is absolutely that. Strengthens our community by investing in local talent and builds high-quality partnerships with local healthcare providers and post-secondary institutions. Tomorrow, it's my intent to sign the formal MOU with UNMC to begin to let them know that we're serious about this process and we would like to see something happen. I think at this point it's very possible, considering how much of a partner the community hospital wants to be with us, and where we currently are in our academic setting, that we could start this as early as next school, at the beginning of the next school year. Where if you would have asked me maybe a couple months ago, I might have said January. I'm thinking August at this point in time. And so we'll have to do, it might not start with a bang. We'll probably have to do some, like anything, marketing on it and make sure kids know that this is available to them. That might take a little time. But as that program grows, I just see more and more kids, when they see the benefit to it, they're going to want, or we're going to have kids that want to be participants. Any questions? I hate being behind that. My little clicker didn't work today. About the program, anything you'd like to know in addition to? And concerns are fine too. I don't know if there's anything that's concerning you about this.
I think it's great for our community and for our students and the hospital, and thanks for running with that, because that wasn't long ago that they presented that to us as an option, and so thanks for
thank you.
moving forward with it and getting it where it's at. It'll be great for the students.
Yeah, I'm encouraged by it. Mr. Dickus has done a lot of work on this too. I'll thank him for the work he's done. So,
I would just echo Brad's thoughts, being married to the director person of the schools who is a graduate of the University of Nebraska Medical Center with her BSN in nursing.
Yep.
You were very right. It was very challenging to get in, and she got on the first try, but this, I think, provides our kids a step up, so kudos to you guys for doing that.
and
Thanks to the hospital folks for partnering.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
honestly, I believe this, I believe this will come all together in the end. And I'm thankful to Community Hospital, I'm thankful to UNMC, because McCook, there is another school district, Scotts Bluff does this currently. Is there another one that we're aware of? All right. So just being in the conversation with UNMC, I think is awesome. So I appreciate that they want us to partner with us. And so hopefully it turns into big things for all the organizations involved. And I see this model spreading throughout Nebraska because rural health care, I'm actually in the process of writing a grant in coordination with the community hospital. We've just started discussions about training space and nursing simulators and those type. They have a dummy that basically is a human being, and you treat the dummy like you treat the human being, and kids learn how to provide medical healthcare support through that. So we're trying to even expand that. I just see this growing and becoming better for our community and our kids. And so hopefully that becomes part of this someday.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe I just need new batteries in here or something.
I think that might be it.
I think I need new batteries.
What's that?
It was just an HMBI connection.
Yeah, that was slow with that. All right, let's see. All right, that might be on the rest of the video.
It's
We'll patiently wait.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still. All right, just a moment here.
So next on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
All right.
So, are you ready?
Yeah, no, if I get far enough back, I can read it. All right, third grade reading retention proposal. This is just something I wanted to do. I think this, after that presentation, this next segment is basically going to be on legislative issues that we might be facing. And I don't want to go through this in detail like I did maybe with that presentation, but just be aware that Governor Pillen is supporting or is proposing, and he doesn't write legislation, right? So he's going to have to find someone to carry this legislation, but proposing a mandatory statewide policy requiring third graders who are not proficient in reading to be retained at third grade. And he argues this change is necessary to end social promotion, which probably isn't as predominant as he believes it is. Retention does occur, has always occurred traditionally, but there's generally been a sort of a check-off sheet on who should be retained for what reasons. But anyway, key points of this proposal would be that based on some form of assessment, which hasn't necessarily been identified yet, students would have to, that third grade, all third grade students would have to demonstrate reading proficiency. I think I'm not sure what that mark will be yet. What's the cut score, right? That hasn't been established. So that would have to be established, but students who fall below whatever that cut score is would then be retained. Now one of the things I think that they'll have in this policy or this statute would be that students have multiple opportunities to pass the test. I hope that's what's in it. I'm a little nervous, but I think that'll be in it. And also I think that there'll be some, and I haven't seen any legislation, so I'm speaking just based off what I've heard, and so I'll take that for it. So the rumor mill says that students who have certain identifications might not have to meet that cut score because of whatever their identification is. There might be some outs that way. It's already has components of what we do. So in this legislation, the state of Nebraska is currently working on literacy and expanding or improving student literacy across the state of Nebraska. That's been an NDE initiative since starting last school year. So we're a year and a half in. They have a $55 million grant from the federal government to improve student literacy across the state. A lot of what that grant is paying for and the expectations that are being placed on schools are in this statute. So we're already actually doing, the state of Nebraska is already actually doing a lot of what we believe will be in this policy. And I think that's just worthy of note. So won't the academic or expectations pieces or the training and professional development, none of that will be a surprise. Other potential legislative topics this session that we need to keep an eye on are, well, first of all, key dates. The session began on January 7th. Bills have started to be introduced, and so we've seen a few of those. In 30 days, we'll have our first committee hearings. I might be at some of those this year. Mid-February, priority bills identified, and by April 17th, this should all be done. We'll see if that's true or not, but that's the 60-day end date. Significant budget shortfalls, one of the things they're going to have to deal with. So they're going to be very, very busy. We're looking at a $471 million, $471 million budget shortfall, so that's going to be an issue. School finance and, of course, property taxes will be an issue that they have to pay attention to. I don't know if they'll come out with anything. They work on that every year, but we'll see what happens. Private school scholarships and tax credits is likely another topic of discussion. Social policy bills affecting schools, and that has to do with student eligibility, participation, and gender issues. Where they're allowed, who's allowed to participate in what, where they're allowed to go. Workforce and educator pipeline issues, we just kind of talked about one of those. We talked about the healthcare pipeline, but they want to make sure that that there are incentives in place to encourage kids to go into the right types of career fields that benefit the state of Nebraska. Some education-related bills presented Wednesday. So I added this the other day. Senator Holdcroft submitted or introduced a bill relating to school bond elections. We've heard some talk about that in the past, and some of that stuff is still in there. LB 765 requires that 50.1% of qualified voters within a school district take part in a bond election, in addition to a majority vote to approve the measure. So if you ran a bond election, if you had 40, not or 50%, I don't know if you get 50%, but 49.9% participate in the election doesn't count. You know, and even if you have a vast majority voting in favor of something, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count on a bond election. And there's some other pieces to that, and I'm just giving you a heads up so you can pay attention to it. And LB 824, introduced by Senator Lewinsky, I don't know if I got that name right, would amend both the school employees and Class 5 OPS retirement systems to reduce the no work period from 180 days to 120 days. So why is that important? Currently, when you retire from public schools in the state of Nebraska, and I'm not sure Omaha has the same rule, you know, they do. So even in Omaha, they have 180 days. So when you retire, you can't come back to work for a public school for 180 days, which is basically 6 months. You can come back in some capacity, like you can work 7 days or 8 days as a substitute teacher, which gives you a little flexibility, but let's be honest, that's not a lot. This current statute or this bill is wanting to make a change to 120 days, which I think we're in favor of. But during that 120 days, they can't have those individuals can't have any contact. They can't volunteer, nor can they substitute for a day. They can have no contact with the public school system. So that's being proposed, and I do think that ultimately would be beneficial to a school district. So, any questions about those legislative bills? I know I covered those really fast, but you can read through them. And there's going to be so much more to talk about as the session goes along. Anything? All right. Nursing, I already talked about, I'm going to sign that MOU tomorrow. January 19th, 2026, teacher in service. Just want to give you a little information about that. We're going to have a poverty training at MCC East Campus in the afternoon, and in the morning, teachers K-12 will be taking a master class. That's an online, and they'll start a master class online training through Solution Tree. That's the company that we work with, our PLC institutes and workshops where teachers go for those 2-day workshops. And this is on the science of reading. And it is designed for staff members. I think it's the science of reading. Why would a 12th grade math teacher want to take that? Well, it's designed for teachers across the spectrum to get something from it, and we also believe in cross-curricular content. So if you're teaching math and you're never reading and you're never writing, you're not teaching math correctly. You need to read, write, in all of our content areas. So that's what the teachers will be working on that morning. And there might be some curriculum work taking place that morning, but that's going to be the bulk of that day. And of course, students are out. That's also Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So that's a federal holiday as well. Formation of McCook Public Schools Foundation is in progress. I wanted to give you a little update on that. We hoped that we would be in a position where we'd have an action item on the board meeting agenda tonight. We are very, very close. What we need at this point to form that foundation is for the current McCook Education Foundation to meet and to basically come into agreement that what the bylaws and what's the other documents name, Jeff?
The bylaws and the articles of incorporation.
Articles of incorporation are okay, and they go up. We've had our attorneys look at them and work with them. And I think we're in a really good spot. I think there are some really good documents. They just need to meet and approve that. Once they do, and they don't meet all the time like we do. So once they meet and approve that, it'll be before this Board of Education for approval. Now, there's a couple of, that's currently a 9-member board. The 9 members on the board currently would remain. And then with 3 additional board members would be added. 1 would be a voting member from the school board. So one of the 6 of you will be on that board. And then 2 non-voting members that are appointed by the Board of Education. So, just throwing this out there, you might want to appoint Mr. Gross and myself to that, but you don't have to. So we would meet as a non-voting member. We give information, discuss topics we just wouldn't have any say, and what the decisions are. So I just want you to know that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of really, really, really brief, but if you want to read through those bullet points, you can. Hopefully we have something that would be nice to have in February. If we could, we'll see what happens. And do you want me to go on? I can talk some more. No, I'm kidding. I think that concludes. That's next month. That concludes my portion of the report. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll go to the next agenda item, which is the monthly business manager Board of Education report from Mr. Rose.
Kind of a short report this month. We served 11,287 meals in December. Financials after 33% of the year, our general fund revenue is at 26% and expenses are 34%. So I'll make note that that revenue is down because of the property tax credits. We've been talking about it, but that will rectify itself when we get our February county receipt statements. All funds revenues 26 and year-to-date expenses are at 37. That's going to look high all year for all funds because of the paving of the parking lot, which is $900,000. It wasn't a budgeted number, so it's showed up as an expense, and it's just going to keep making that high all year. So, facility updates. They put a stop on all the concrete work and sidewalks and retaining walls at the parking lot behind the YMCA and tennis courts, but they've got the majority of that work done. Final dirt work and grass seeding will take place in the spring. I was over there today with Big D Metalworks because we got to get some railings put up on some sidewalks and things, and getting some quotes there. Wyland Field storm damage is to be completed in April. We did meet in December with W Design and Garage Concrete, and they're formulating a plan and working with Mr. Wallace. Him and the maintenance guys are already over there starting to take the bleachers, the metal off of that area to get it to where they can get in there and work. And then as we discussed in last month, the RFP was released for the replacement of the junior high bleachers. It was held, and the low bid will be presented tonight at the new business items. Some just updates on the storm damage. The roof at the Learning Center is in the final stages, waiting on the metal fascia. Current financial projects, just a reminder, it's the last time we'll be out there, but the bond was paid off and finalized in December. So that's a good thing to have off the docket. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Next on the agenda is board member comments. Start with you, Mike.
No comments.
Amanda?
None.
Scott?
No.
Hearing no comments, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is new business. And that's to approve the 2026-2027 negotiated agreement. I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve the negotiated agreement with McCook Education Association for the 2026-2027 school year.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
On the back of your motions, were all of the things that were put into the negotiated agreement. So, Charlie, you want to go through that, or you want me to? Or?
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I thought this year's negotiations and discussions went really well. Talked about some additions to some of the extra duty pay that goes on. We added a speech or drama to the junior high club, set at 2%. Also added one act and play production assistant as needed, so depending on the numbers and how many students are out, there may be some room for an assistant at 2%. There was also some change in the extra duty assignments. Previously replaced NOR in the agreement with summer educational trips compensation. We opened that up and added some other programs to that just for the sake of having to prevent them coming back every single time to request that. Also, the compensation structure, leading a trip with 5 or more students. Currently or previously, it was being paid at 0.5%. This will move up to 2.5% on there. Reason for that, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into fundraising over the course of a year to 2 years, depending on when those trips are, and get a few $100s out of that to share with your other assistants who are super sponsored with that. Tends to be a little bit of, there's a lot of work, so we wanted to make sure that we were being compensated for the work there. So. Also with that, we did have some trip limitations added to that, so limited to 3 trips every 2 years with that. Insurance remains the same, $1050 single, $3,800 dual enrollment, which was a 7.5% increase in premiums. Base salary went up by $800 to $41,900, which total package increase with insurance and everything is 4.28%. And also talked about McCook teaching career incentive eligibility. So a couple years ago, we implemented a new hire sign-in bonus. We also wanted to go back and take care of the teachers that have been here for a longer legitimacy. And with McCook Public Schools, so what we added in there is to be eligible, they must have taught in McCook for at least 10 consecutive years. Must be at the bottom of the salary step, MA 18 or MA 27 or MA 36. And the incentive amount will add an additional $500 to be paid each November for those teachers that meet those requirements. So. Anything else, Scott or Amanda, want to add to those discussions?
So I mean, from being my first year on negotiations, I thought it went extremely well.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Rose?
Brad Hayes,
Yes.
Scott Barton,
Yes.
Amanda Burr,
Yes.
Jesse June,
Yes.
Mike Landon,
Yes.
Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Motion approved. Next on the agenda is to approve the Heartland seating for the bleachers at McCook Junior High. I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve the bid for Heartland Seating for $137,988 to replace the bleachers at McCook Junior High.
I have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? This was an open bidding process.
Yeah, we
I don't know
ran
how many
it.
bids we got, but.
We ran a 30-day RFP, advertised it and sent it out to seating companies. We did receive one bid from Heartland Seating out of Kansas City. They're the same group that did the high school bleachers 12 years ago already?
Yeah, sure.
It seems like
Been a while.
yesterday, but it's been 10 or 12 years already. So, we've got a bid to replace both the bleachers on the floor, which are, the wooden bleachers on the floor are original to the building. So McCook Public Schools patrons have definitely got their use out of those, but they are becoming inoperable, and if you slide across it, you might get a big splinter. So it's getting really bad. And then the ones on the stage area, we put some money into a few years back with our maintenance guys reinforcing them and putting some aluminum into them, but it's time. They're in bad shape. And so we had to spend some money to get that. So this project will take place beginning in early May. Mr. Lyons and myself have already talked, and when the weather gets nice, we will get the PE kids will be going outside for PE, and we will get in there, and our guys will save a little bit of money off of this by dismantling the bleachers on the wooden floor and get them out of there, which then will allow the finishing company to come in and re-sand the floor down and re-stain and finish the floor. The floor has not been redone on the floor since 2000, and so it's very yellow and it's got a lot of whack, a lot of buildup on it. And then that'll cure, and then the seating company will come in July and replace all the bleachers and everything. So that's the process.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Gross?
Scott Barker.
Yes.
Amanda Burr.
Yes.
Jesse Junior.
Yes.
Mike Lennon.
Yes.
Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Brad Hayes.
Yes. Motion approved. Next on the agenda is Roofing with a Purpose program. It's a donation. I'm looking for a motion.
I move to accept the donation from CTE Construction for the Roofing with a Purpose program to be used for the lunch program of $2,358. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I mean, the discussion would be thank you to CTE Construction. This is the second generous check that we have received from them.
Very appreciative.
Yes. Great program.
Going towards the lunch program is fantastic. Put to good use.
Yes. Feeding our students, which is fantastic. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. Gross?
Amanda Burr.
Yes.
Jesse Junior.
Yes.
Mike Lennon.
Yes.
Charlie McPherson.
Yes.
Brad Hayes.
Yes.
Scott Barker.
Yes.
Motion approved. Next on the agenda is resignations, but we have none, so we'll move to the next, which is positive comments. We'll start with our student board member, Fred.
My positive comment would be the UNMC program to help keep kids going in a nursing program in rural Nebraska instead of going to Omaha or somewhere else.
Thank you, great program. Jesse?
I just want to thank everyone. It's our first year, Amanda and I's first year being on the school board. Everybody's been really helpful, and can't thank all of you enough. It's a lot to learn, and there's still much more to learn, but thank you all for your help.
Thank you. Charlie?
Well, coming out of the holiday break, just want to acknowledge and notice, I know that's a busy time for custodial and maintenance staff around the district to get a lot of things in during the break. So appreciate their time and work during that phase. Also want to just kind of give a shout out to the winter sports teams, specifically girls wrestling. Daughter's in it, and it's been a fun go. And they've really made some improvements over the last year, and they've been medaling now at every single meet, whereas last year it wasn't the case, so we're making a lot of progress and moving in the right direction, so it's been fun to watch.
Exciting. Thank you. Scott?
I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm with Charlie on that, but mine's gonna be for bowling. You know, last year, or I guess 2 years ago, we approved for us to have a high school bowling team. The first year we had 29 kids out, and we were concerned that year two, it was a large senior class, maybe we wouldn't have as many this year. There were 42 kids that went out for high school bowling. Selfishly, one of those is my son, Creighton, and he's loved every minute of it. So my shout out is to Terry and Genocides, and all the work and effort that the two of them put into all those kids. They try to give everybody the attention they can, and obviously the use of their facilities. So I just wanted to say thanks to them. Appreciate it very much.
Fantastic.
There's a lot.
A lot of kids, and a lot of young kids too. So
Very good. Thank you. Amanda?
Mine is to thank you, Brad, for being willing to serve as president again this year. And again, being my first year, it was a lot to learn, and kind of like what Jesse said, I thank all the board members for their help and kind of showing us the way. And it's a lot to learn, but I've enjoyed it and excited for my second year. So thank you guys for all your hard work and everything you do, especially other than on board meetings. I know you prepare a lot at all the meetings and everything.
Very good. Thank you. Mike?
I'd say, back to how to do kudos on the Med Center cooperation deal. I mean, that's a big thing about getting people to come back. I like the idea with Kearney, and it's closer. I know some kids that have gone to UNMC, and then they're just shell shocked with Omaha, and they're heading back here. And so I think it's just an easier transition to go to Kearney for multiple reasons. And I think just the thing of getting 2 to 3 generations in this community, it makes it, because the majority of the people that I see with new employment, they go somewhere, they get some experience, and then they move back closer to home. And if we can change that a little bit, it can make a big difference in the community. Other things like the basketball team's doing pretty good. Last weekend wasn't the greatest. I think they were a little tired for the second game.
Third there.
Yeah, that was quite a few in a row, but those guys have been hustling, and so I've been impressed with that, and all the little things that you guys do. I mean, there's something that can happen every day, and how the principal and you guys, the superintendent, handle. There's just a lot of personalities hitting in one spot, and you just never know what's going to happen. And then be able to handle things on your feet is amazing. I mean, it's hard, and people don't realize how hard that is until unless they walked in those shoes. It's just easy to point, sit down at a coffee shop, point, and say, well, I want this done, I want that done. What's going to happen if you're in that situation? But I think a lot of things get handled with integrity. And that's something that just goes behind the scenes, and I just want to thank you guys for it.
Very good, thank you. Jeff?
On Saturday, January 3rd, McCook Optimist Club hosted the Mac Attack tournaments. That wouldn't be possible without the partnership with McCook Public Schools and having use of the junior high and the high school, and then all the volunteers. Most of our refs were made up of the high school girls and boys basketball teams, countless volunteers. I look around this room, people sitting in there. We raised a tremendous amount of money, and every dime we raise goes back to the kids of our community. Half of all the dollars we raise when Mac Attack's done go back to scholarships for seniors. The other half go back in, and we use them for any special requests to our club. And so without the partnership, without McCook Public Schools and McCook Community College and St. Pat's, that wouldn't happen. But just, it's one of those things that gets, you don't think about, but we had 45 teams, raised a lot of money for kids, and brought a lot of economic development to the community in that day. And so just thank you to the school system for allowing us to do that. So.
Thank you. Good times too, right?
Yeah.
My shout out, positive comment is, it's going to be a little lengthy, but it has to do with the academic performance of our students. And so that starts with the students, but it also is with all of the administrators and then teachers in our school district. But the Nebraska Department of Education AQuest classification for McCook Public Schools in general was great. And then for the second year in a row, the classification for McCook Elementary was excellent. So thank you and congratulations. But what is really cool is our 3rd through 8th grader MSCAS results. They do a state up here and then MPS, McCook Public Schools. But we were better than our peers in every subject, which includes English language, art, mathematics, and science. And then we were well above the state average for all those that weren't even close. And then for our ACT scores for our high schoolers, we were above our peers, and as well as the state average. And like for English language arts, we were 24% above our state average. And for science, we were 17% above the state, and so we just rocked it. And so it's a great accomplishment for our administrators, our students, and our teachers. So, thank you.
Is this your attempt to not let me give that presentation in February?
Correct.
You're getting it next
That
month
was a
anyway.
good song.
Grant.
Yes.
Yeah, my positive comment, it's January, and it's mentor month, sorry. And I really want to thank the Teammates Mentoring Program. Marissa Hoynes is our Teammates Coordinator for the school district and the work that she does. But I want to thank her, and I want to thank all of the folks that are mentors in our community. I appreciate that. I know a lot of us in this room are mentors, and I think it makes being involved with it, I think it makes a big difference in our kids' lives. And so it's Mentor Month, and thank you, Mentor, and thank you, teammates, for being part of McCook Public Schools. And that's all.
Thank you. Very good. Next on the agenda is adjournment. So meeting is adjourned.